Now it should work. Is it working? I believe it's working. Should work now.
Yep. There's the time lag. It's caught up to where you were saying it should be working.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, sorry about that. For some reason, my OBS settings had shifted. I don't even know why. Anyway, welcome back to Forbidden Lands, session 21 in these cursed lands. It is spring rise. It is still spring rise. They have long months in this world. But before we get to that, let's talk to all the players. Who are you all? Starting with Josh on the left, as usual.
Hey folks, I'm playing Braynar, the half-elf frailer, and hoping to go ahead and burn some people again this evening.
I'm Jessica, and I'm playing Frida, the Wolfkin Bloody Demon Slayer, and I'm hoping to beat some slavers' heads in.
For some reason, nobody likes this village. I don't know why. Oh yeah, I do know why.
Maybe it's full of slavers and thieves. That might be why.
That could be why.
Could be. My name's Chris. I play Soren, the token human in the group, and I am a hunter, and I'm not sure why I'm in this den of iniquity.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Michaela, actually.
Yeah. Michaela, I'm playing Big, the little halfling with a big mouth. Hopefully that'll come in handy tonight, so looking forward to it. Hopefully getting out of trouble, maybe getting into. Who knows?
And I'm B, playing Celestial Passage, everyone's least favorite conscience, the voice of the druid. I'm here to sample the local wares and hopefully contribute more than I have in some of the prior engagements, but it's hard to say when you are crippled.
Yep. Well, you don't have all your toes left anymore. Shout out, as always, to Hellhag Productions, who made the overlays and most of the graphics in the intro. And this show, for the audiences, is rated R. This is Quentin Tarantino meets fantasy western, directed by Tarantino. The Forbidden Lands are a cruel place. It's a cursed place. There are beacons and islands of hope and resilience and healing here and there. But one has to be careful with whom one trusts and who one works with, because unlike in some games, there are no guarantees that any particular kin or culture will be inherently good or inherently evil. There are cruel people in every culture and every kin. There are nice people too, but they might be fewer because of the desperation of the struggle for survival in a cursed land like these. So be aware. What happened last session?
A lot of traveling.
A lot of traveling indeed.
And a lot of Braynar and Soren representing us, because a Wolfkin is pretty effing obvious, and I'm much more elven than Braynar.
Hey, I only eat people when it's ritualistically called for.
Exactly.
That's not what the Rust Brothers say. The Rust Brothers say you're a demon made flesh.
Well, I'll eat them too then.
You cannot be trusted even to the depths that your soul and body may be cast into the lake with no retribution.
They're the ones with... hey. They're the ones with tentacles.
Tentacles are
Just
okay,
saying.
fur is bad, I guess. Fur is murder. Fur is murder.
Rhetoric, so...
I was born this way?
Okay, lady, yeah.
Lady Frida. That's something she ain't ever been called before.
We did meet an ogre.
You did meet an ogre. Yeah, that's how we started. You did meet an ogre and just kind of let the ogre be once you found out it was dragging a Rust Brother in the sack. Like, oh, it's a Rust Brother. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. We should save that human. Oh, wait, it's a Rust Brother.
And we found out about a freedom fighter that's been making trouble in the area among the mounted plains folk.
Yes, indeed. The legendary
Avery of Kroom.
Arby of Kroom, exactly.
With an extensively high bounty.
Yes, yes.
10 gold.
There was indeed a bounty on the just by the gates to Willow's Keep, the fortress south of here. That's
Maybe
after
we can...
you pass through
Sorry,
the
go ahead.
ruins of the village Stillside that had been sacked by orcs at some point.
And we did run across an outrider that we're pretty sure, wink, 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 might know where they are and interact with them on occasion when the moon is in the right position and the attitude strikes.
Yep.
Before making our way to this place.
To this place. This dismal, dismal place.
I'm not going to say that it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy,
but it's
because
a wretched
that would be giving wretched hives a bad name.
Yes. Between this and Mos Eisley, I think Mos Eisley is a much more civilized place, probably.
I've seen other places on Tatooine, having watched other shows they've done. Mos Eisley's not that bad.
Indeed. But you did take employment, or at least you're thinking of taking employment here. Captain Kratulos showed you, talked to you a little bit about what kind of tasks that you might want to do or have to do. It's up to you now to decide.
Frida is
whether you
okay
want to take this
with
employment
getting
or not.
paid to beat up
Yeah, Frida
slavers and
was
thieves.
pro breaking up fights between slavers and thieves by beating them.
I mean, that's the
Yeah.
job.
Some other members of the party were pro. Wait, we get paid and we could possibly go and venture in the ruins above this place.
Yes, that's also a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to make, what was it, like 10 silver a week, I cannot spend a week in this place. I am hard pressed to spend a week in a quote unquote civilized town.
No, but we can earn some, mister. It was your idea to take a job anyway. We can earn some wages, explore the ruins, and make what we can.
Yep. Well, that's what you have to decide. now.
Well, in all honesty, I only need maybe 1 or 2 other people to do the guard duty with me, while the others explore the ruins.
And Cartulus would be never wiser, because...
As long as he sees one of us walking around on guard duty.
I could work.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that guard duty is not 24/7.
No, it wouldn't be, of course. You'll have shifts when you're on and shifts when you're off, like in any type of organized enforcement service. You can't be on duty all the time.
Right, and then this is also assuming that he's gonna allow us to choose our own guard partners. He may choose to partner us up with some rando that is also in his employ. I'm not sure that's gonna go well for him, but...
Just considering the fact that to make a show of how he's trying to do a better job around here, he came across most of the active guards drunk in front of the bar.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll have much of an issue slipping away to adventure if it comes to it.
Or we could, say, well, think about it, and we'll go check out the ruins for like a day or 2 first.
Totally with Soren on that one.
Because at 10 silver a week, the amount of money that we just spent outfitting, we're going to be here for the better part of a year to make that money back with those wages.
I mean, there are other ways of making money in these lands. Selling...
Nobody's selling the Wolfkin.
No, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about
Big
you know,
would
you,
fetch
you
a
have
good, some good
you
money.
have a hunter with you who can hunt game and sell both meat and pelts. Not sure it's going to bring that much money, but maybe if you're lucky with your hunting and foraging rolls, you can make some money that way.
You could sing outside the tavern.
Yep.
That I could do.
I'm sure they always need a fisher, a smither, a bower, a tanner.
Mr. Jack of all trades up there.
Candlestick maker. And a
If it was a talent.
He's not a candlestick maker. This town has a Thieves Guild. Do not make that mistake.
Yes, this town does have a Thieves Guild.
Well, maybe we can at least kind of ask around and see what the what the information is about the ruins. If anybody knows anything, if anybody has gone there, if anybody has come back with anything.
Okay.
The tavern is over here. The guild hall for the thieves is over here, and this would be the hall for the slave traders guild. You haven't been to these parts yet, the west side, if you will, of the upper village.
Want to go take a look at that first before we start digging around for some clues?
Well, sure. I mean, it can't get any worse than it is, right?
Never say that. That's always a trap.
Well, looking towards, I mean, it's a stone's throw away from you. This village is not that big. You will notice that this house here has to be some kind of chapel. The little figurines here on the map would in fact be idols of Rust and Heem. It's not hard to see at all even from your distance. Yeah, that tells you that's the Rust Brother Chapel.
Oh, they ain't gonna like me. We
It's
don't
not
need to
terribly
go there.
it's not terribly elaborate or fancy or anything compared to what you saw in, say, Willow's Keep. It has the typical cloven facade of the Rust Brother Church, the Rust Church, and the idols, of course, because that is part of the faith, are stained with dark flecks and stains of blood. Rust being this very crude representation of a man made out of very rusty metal with a very crudely made face, mouth, eyes, like a marking for the nose. And Heem, on the other side of, they're flanking the entrance basically, being basically a wooden sculpture, much more slender, but still fairly crude. Arms, legs, a hint of a woman's bosom, just to mark the gender difference between the two. So that would be the Rust Brother Chapel, quite simply.
Yeah, let's not go there.
The other building has a lot of hop poles. That's what these are, the little markings there on the map. So, being a crafter, Brennar, you will know... Oh, dang it. No, I messed something up there. I hadn't put on the chat, so now there we go. Now all the windows are back again as they should be. Anyway, Brennar, as you are a crafter, you will recognize that this is a brewery. They have rigged a series of hop poles to grow the basic ingredients to be able to make beer or ale of some kind. And even outside the house, you can see the shimmering copper pans and stacks of lumber and kegs. And yes, there is a waft of beer smell coming from that area.
What?
Okay, gonna have to deal with the chat thing here.
All right. Well, Big, do you feel like these are folks that you could talk to and see if we can maybe get the skinny on that ruin?
What was that for?
I'm just wondering if Big can talk to the folks here.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I definitely can.
Well,
I don't know how much good it's going to be, but
well, who do you want to talk to though? I mean, there are some folks working outside the hop shed, where the brewery. Let's call it the brewery. Simple. You can't see any people around the Rust Church at all, but there's definitely people around the Guild Hall and around the Slavers Hall, and certainly on the other end of this, around the tavern. That's even at this early hour, there is plenty of people there. Some of them already inebriated.
Hey,
And
Brainer,
definitely at Duke Alka Thevos.
I do actually want to go sniff around the church a little. You want to back me up?
Okay. I don't think it's a good idea for you to go over to that church, just for record, Frida.
Yeah, it's a Wolfkin thing. Just trust me.
Is it daytime or night?
It's morning.
Okay.
You went into the village in fairly early morning, actually, so it's still like 9 or 10, something like that.
Okay. Is there any nearby open flames?
Yes, the brewery has started up. They're definitely needing flame to do their business. And not too far away, you have the tavern. They're not going to have any flames outdoors, though.
Yep,
If I see Frida starting to head towards the church, I'll hand Brainer. It's an unlit torch, but just in case. And I'll make sure that I'm within bow shot, just in case.
I'll thank
Thanks,
Soren,
guys.
and we'll head our way that way, I guess.
So
Okay,
you're going
Frida,
to...
We got your back.
So you're going to again? Please?
Yeah, I'm gonna go sniff around the church.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll just move the party token slightly that way. Yeah, there isn't a whole lot of people here. A couple of... You'll see one person come out. She's dressed in very dirty clothes. She must have worn them for years. They're stitched up and patched, and this lingering suspicion that she's probably a slave, given how worn she looks like.
Yeah.
She's basically trying to clean just in front of the church with a brush, which I guess it works, though it's going to get dirty really soon again, given who the clientele might be. You can't see any signs of a rust brother here, though.
Okay. I guess I'll ask her, is the priest around?
Yes, yeah. She's kind of looking at you with big eyes at the moment, in a moment, and then she gets sort of relaxed again. Apparently, she's more used to Wolfkin than many others. But yeah, she will say he's not to be disturbed, though. I'm afraid.
Is the church not open today?
Oh, I'm sure it will be eventually. If you want to come in and do libations by the altar, I can't see any harm in that.
Thank you.
She will help you open the door, and it's
Rainer will follow suit.
stuffy in there.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of dust particles just sort of swirling around in the light that comes in from the few window openings that are around here. Again, an altar with another 2 idols of Rust and Heem. They are also bloodstained.
So, Frida will do the appropriate Wolfkin version of Hail Mary, I guess, for Rust and Hearn.
Yeah. Feel free to improvise something.
So, you see Frida go over to the altar, and it's to Brainard. This looks like almost muscle memory movements, and she does some kind of like ritual hand movements, and then a quick slit of her palm with her claws, and spreads blood over the altar, and a quick another couple hand movements, whispers a couple of memorized words, and
Very well. Yeah, that
I
would
clutch
be...
my pearls and I can't believe. No.
I'm not sure that sort of... I mean, there's an obvious division in religious doctrine between the Elven Spring Druids and Rust and Heem, or the Rust Church, I should say.
I'm not there. She took Braynar.
But I'm not so sure that one would sort of dismiss the gods per se. Definitely, Rust Church bad. Rust and Heem, are they bad? That's a question for theological discussions, I feel.
my guess is the Wolfkin version of the worship and the Rust Brother version of the worship is kind of like Catholics and Protestants, where your bases are the same.
I would say more like Catholics and Anglicans, perhaps. Because Anglican Church is closer to the Catholic one. But it's ironic because, of course, the Rust Brothers consider the Wolfkin to be demon tainted.
Oh,
so
no! That is totally the Catholic Church and the sub branches.
So yeah, there is some doctrinal differences there for sure, but there is definitely no Rust Brother in there to greet you.
So other than there's no smell of other Wolfkin in here either.
No, not really.
Okay. Just wondering which flavor of gods I'm looking at.
It's probably the. I mean, just by the building's shape, it's the Rust Church's version of Rust and Heem, rather than the Wolfkin version of.
Yeah. Okay. So, I don't wait for the priest. If that's the case, if I don't smell any other of my kin around, I don't wait for the priest, because I'm not about to be...
This isn't the face of the gods that you're used to.
Right. I'm not about to be bitched at, so I leave.
Yeah.
I've done my libations and...
Yeah. No, absolutely. And for once, you could move unmolested in a Rust Church. That doesn't happen a lot. So yeah, no, you can come out again, and it's surprisingly peaceful, if you can call it peaceful, given the moans and of pain that are undoubtedly coming down here from the slave camp. There's always someone who's not in a good position down there.
I stopped the girl by the door before I leave. How much did they pay for you?
Oh, I wouldn't know, ma'am.
Okay. Frida just kind of makes a mental note and walks away. And when we get far enough away, I look at Brainer. Probably taking that one with us.
We're not going to talk about what just happened in the temple.
What? Wolfkin have gods too.
But I've never seen a Wolfkin pray to the Rust gods.
Just because they don't like me doesn't mean we don't have something in common.
Hi, Tree. You're a really nice tree. You're doing your best, Tree. I feel you.
Putting down roots.
Just trying to shake it off.
Maybe you should leave it alone.
Well,
know
we
what?
could branch out.
Split
I
the party!
Those gentlemen over there look like they might appreciate your humor far, far more than I do.
For sure.
You'll be able to see Cratulus walking around. He's shouting at someone again for not doing their job properly.
I'll actually.
So, Frida, you guys find what you were looking for? No?
Unfortunately, not. No.
See a disgruntled look on Rainer's face.
Yeah, for the first time, Brainer looks like he might not trust Frida.
It looks like Brainard's been sucking lemons.
There was a lot of lemons in that church.
What? You watched me eat a heart before. This is a problem?
We'll talk later.
I'm impressed nobody is dead yet.
Pass you back your torch, Soren.
Thank you.
He's been in Grindbone for all of 2 hours and no one's dead yet?
We got kind of lucky. The only person in there was the slave girl who sweeps the floors.
Cool. Did you find out anything?
It didn't
news?
smell like me. That's all I really needed to
Well,
know.
I would hope it didn't smell like you. You only just arrived with us. No other wolfkin, that would be an interesting situation.
That's what I meant. It didn't smell like kin.
So,
So we want to find out more about these haunted ruins, or find out about these haunted ruins as they are?
I take the latter. Let's just go.
We can ask around. Big, do you want me to come with you?
Yeah, I always need a little muscle to back myself up.
Big needs a small help there.
Or a pair of shoulders, Depends on how
Let's-
big the crowd gets. If I do my
Nah.
job right, I might have to, be able to see.
Sit on my...
A master blaster moment.
Exactly.
That's the
Do you
routine.
want to be carried? Like,
We can hook up a basket on your back.
get one of those, like, baby Bajorn things? Put Big in a pouch?
Like mini-me.
I actually know how to do that with a piece of cloth.
I'm gonna be slowly edging my way away from the rest of the party.
Into the slave pens.
What, we
Yeah.
don't scare you now, do we, Soren?
Nope. I'm gonna stay close enough so if they cause any trouble, I can get there with a bow shot. But I am physically distancing myself from them.
Alright. Is this an attempt to stealth or something?
No.
Okay.
No, he's just tired of our company right now.
And to that point, Brainer's going to make his way over to the brewery.
Oh, the brewery. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's, people are working to brew beer.
I guess Celestial Passage will hang out by these trees here because, everyone else is off to do something.
They have a fairly big, burly fella who has a lot of hair, still human, a lot of hair over his shoulders and down along his arms. And he's standing there and also along his very bullishly broad neck. And he's kind of putting in some extra wood into the fires and ordering some assistant around to keep the production going as you're approaching. He's kind of Yeah, just giving you a glance there. Standing, his chest as broad as a barn, and just kind of looking over things.
Yeah, I won't interact at all. I'll just kind of oversee and see if I can kind of learn a high level of the process.
That's going to take a while, of course. But yeah, they're basically working hard with their brews here and stirring when they need to and tapping when they need to. And there's a big barrel there, and you can see that as it fills up, it gets nailed shut, and they put it on a wheelbarrow, essentially, and start wheeling it away from the brewery past you and past the rest of the party and start heading up towards the abandoned ruins. If they really are abandoned, who knows? It's a bit weird to see people working in a brewery wheeling a barrel of beer towards a supposedly haunted castle ruin. But there you are.
Be an interesting cover.
And nobody seems to take any note of this at all. It doesn't seem like anyone is alarmed or what have you. They're being ignored. It's like they belong there.
Okay.
So, Big, you and I are going to the inn, I guess? Is that where you want to start? Or
That seems like the best place to go from what little I can find out already.
Okay, so we will go to the inn. So, in walks the halfling, and behind her, in walks the wolfkin.
All right. Now, should I move the party token to the tavern? For the moment?
Sure.
Yes, this tavern, the largest building in the village by a good measure, and it blares and blazes even at a distance, of course. There are two predominant sounds in this village, clearly. One is the moans from the slave pens, and the other is this tavern. It is a repurposed barn, and that's why it's so big. And even this morning, there are people here who are enjoying their cups. There is smoke, it comes out the chimney, of course, because they're cooking something in there, but it's also billowing kind of out the door a little bit. And just getting close there, Frida, you will feel the smell of sweat and of frying various foodstuffs.
Does it smell like their cooking's any good?
Maybe not as good as yours. That's possible. I'm
Frida
sure
starts
that...
mumbling under her breath something about they're not doing this right, and
No.
they need to use more oil, and oh my god, that's way too much garlic.
But I mean, this is kind of like this is a place where people, the soldiers and the other guild members of this town go, not for its tongue, sort of. It's haute cuisine, if you will. They go here to fill themselves up with energy with whatever slop is being served, and get super drunk if they have the free time to get so, and maybe spend some coinage on the local ladies of the night who are also active now in the morning. It's probably the only type of physical intimacy that many of these soldiers can get around here. Yeah, they do ply their trade, and I'm sure they are quite successful at that. At least it looks like it, judging by how the soldiers who are off duty are acting.
Not hard to get some when you're the only game in town.
Exactly. But it's definitely raw as you step in through the doors. The atmosphere in here. You have a couple of fellows who are. One is a very burly lady, and the other is a burly man. They are arm wrestling and spitting curses, the likes of which few have ever heard before at each other as they go, with two groups of fans on each side sort of shouting them on. By another table, you'll have, there's someone there fraternizing with one of the local ladies. It's really smoky in here, even though, it's just in the beginning of the day. Probably they've started cooking something, and the smoking hole in the chimney in the roof is just not keeping up. The tables are greasy, and they're trying to, the staff here, who are dressed very much like the girl at the temple, are trying to keep up and keep things as tidy as they can with the seriously dirty rags they have.
Dear, there's a difference between char crusting and burning.
Indeed. Yeah, they don't. I don't think they engage in that type of finery. Just looking at the plate of someone who's just finished their breakfast. Yeah, no.
Overly well done.
Yes, definitely over well done. They've tormented the poor meat, I guess someone could get an energy from this, but the likelihood of getting something other than energy from some of this stuff could be there. Iron stomachs are recommended. Oddly enough, as you come in there, I think maybe Big is the one to pick up on this. In one of the corners, a bit away from the other groups, there is someone sitting in slightly better clothes. Definitely not a warrior of any kind. Fairly thin, spindly almost, with a lute in the knee, and a piece of parchment on the must be fat-stained table, scribbling away with a quill and ink as he's going over some notes on his lute.
Yeah, I would definitely try and approach that person, since they seem probably the only thing to give me, information rather than a staph infection.
Yep.
Why not both?
Well, I asked for staph, not staph infection, so there's,
Rita will stick very, very, very close to Big.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. You will
might be
notice the
competition,
crowds
then.
here when you look at who are they, these soldiers and possibly slavers. A lot of humans, definitely, but there's also a few orcs among them, for sure, and you can even see one or two wolfkin here. Yep. They are not anyone you can recognize off the top of your head.
Okay.
And they look much like the other soldiers here. They have the leather jerkins, but also just that fierce face of, these are people who have done bad things in their lives, and
Also,
some
it's
of that
kind of
spark in their eyes is just gone.
yeah.
They hardly even notice you as you go in. It's, okay, that's another wolfkin. I guess they do a bit of a double take when they see the color of your fur, but otherwise...
Yeah.
Yeah, so Big, you approach the man with the lute, and he's sitting there and he's mumbling to himself. It's a bit hard to hear actually what he's saying over the loud carousing from the other table, but he's going, corpse, a better rhyme for corpse.
I don't really know a better rhyme for corpse rather than have some dead eat us instead.
He looks up and looks at you. Who are you?
I'm Big. I am the purveyor of fineries and escort to this tower of furry meat behind me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Looks at the blade, which is
Rita.
wrapped up in leathers, as we talked about before.
Frida attempts to smile, but it probably comes off more menacingly.
Some smiles show pleasure, others just teeth.
Yes. Yes. Ferocious. Yes. Writes down ferocious. Purveyor of fineries? Purveyor of fineries? Ha ha ha! In this place? Have you ever come to the wrong place, miss? This is
She
not
may
a
be
place for fine
ferocious,
things.
but I'm precocious, so...
This is not a place for someone like you, my dear. This is a place of rot and stink. Yes. It's glamorous. No, the opposite of glamorous. Glamorous is bad. It's a false facade, you know? This is where we can really create and get to the core of our beings. Forget beauty. Forget civilization. This is what we really are when all is said and done. Our true face. Yes. I should write that down. True face. Right down.
Yeah.
I lean really far down and whisper, "Big, is this person sane?"
Judging from my political opinion, no. They're batshit crazy. Yeah. So obviously the scenery brought you here, but what of your companions?
Companions?
I'm sure you're not alone.
No, I'm not alone. Of course I'm not alone. No, I'm not alone. These are
She
my
means-
companions. And just waves around towards the entire hall.
She meant other than the voices in your head, I think.
Yeah, kind of implied that.
Voices in
but-
my head? I have no voices in my head. No, this filth and muck of humanity, and just waves towards everyone.
Oh, there's definitely some muck of humanity here.
Isn't it wonderful? I heard the most remarkable rumor this morning. There is to be more death soon. Yes, much more death. Have you heard about the Rust Brother army that marched north?
Do tell.
No, they
Yeah.
passed by a couple of days ago. It was a sight to be to see. You should have seen Captain Cratulus. Oh, the longing in his eyes. Ah, he looked like he was losing the love of his life. Ah, the wretched fool. Those dreams of glory will never get him anywhere, except in an early grave.
What more do you know about this Captain Crunch?
Cratulus, the captain of the village, the soldiers. You must have seen him. He's walking around with his well-kept beard. Yes, but I bet that this army will mean death and destruction on a scale we haven't seen since the Alder Wars. And I will hear of it, and I will write of it. Yes, indeed.
I think we need to know more about this Vanguard, Frida.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to be caught in the middle of somebody else's war.
Or be the cause of it.
That too. You said this captain's around town in here? Or he's left already?
No, I saw him this morning. Actually, the Captain Cratulus, that's the one you spoke to before.
Oh, okay.
So, GM note.
Lovely. That's the one that's trying to clean up this town.
Yep, or at least keep order.
Yeah.
Well, whitewashing it with blood kind of doesn't help that, but sure.
Well, it might keep order.
Bleach could work.
Yeah.
Tyranny does tend to keep order for so long. Well,
Yes.
This was a fun excursion.
So you are new to this place, adventurers, I take it? Just looks over the very strange mix of Big and Frida, and Frida's very well-armed demeanor.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, they come and go. They come and go.
Do
might get
do
some-
any...
A job from the merchant over there. Points towards the door. The fellow just came in, together with some assistants.
Hey, Big, do we want to ask Crazy about the castle, or do we want to go talk to the merchant?
I'm not even sure if they're able to, comprehend what we're talking about, rather than just saying blood, death, and doom. But we can ask. Let's ask. This is
Let's
exciting.
ask.
Yeah. Hey, overly excited to ask you more questions. What can you tell me about the castle up north?
This is to the bard now, of course, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. The castle? Ugh. Stonefang. Not much to say. Old ruin, haunted,
Haunted by what? Or who?
a ghost.
Ghost of
Should be
who?
New for us.
Well, the story goes, if you have to keep interrupting my creative process, waves the quill about. The story goes that the last mistress of Stonefang, Arbia Mundo, turned down a suitor skilled in the ways of magic. This must have been before the blood mist, you see. Now, in anger, he cursed her and turned her into a specter. I've seen her. You can see her up there, walking in the nights. Very fashionable, she must have been. Yes.
Do you ever hear any noises coming from the castle? Ghosts usually make a lot of noise.
Nah, she's quiet. She's quiet. Doesn't really bother much of anyone, unless you actually go into the castle, of course. Though,
Has anybody ever gone in and come back out again?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you go in the castle. If you go up to the watchtower, no problem. If you go down to the cold basements down there, it's strange how cold that place is, really. I don't know if you've noticed the frosting on the western side of it. It's very strange. It's always cold. Summer or winter, it's always cold. But in the basement down there is excellent for storing beer. That's where they keep it, to keep it cool. But if you stray away from those places, you might indeed meet her, and she may or may not be in a charitable mood.
Is there any other inhabitants aside from the ghost and ale in the castle?
I wouldn't go into the east side.
What's in the east side?
The blood mist lingers.
The what?
The blood mist lingers.
Oh.
Good times.
You
Hey,
can
Pig,
see.
Want to
can
go chase
see
a
its
ghost?
glorious
Yeah.
effects if you look on the outside of the east side of the castle, where the water runs like blood all the time. Yes, I go there sometimes for inspiration. It's a very serene spot where you can reflect over brutal endings and bloody murder.
The ale you drink, that's the local variety?
Yes,
I'm
well,
assuming,
we
yeah.
don't get much variety here.
Right. Okay.
Remind me
Strong
not
and
to
not
drink
so
the booze.
strong.
Yeah, I should warn the others. Well, thank you for your time. We're going to walk away slowly, but it's no bearing on anything we just talked about.
Yeah, no, I mean, the bard just goes back to scribbling. Death, blood, yes. Maybe I should use
Hey.
that instead of corpse.
Demon children.
Demon children, yes, demon children.
Right, yeah. Rust is a must. Go team.
I guess you come out of the tavern with Frida actually laughing.
Yes,
Is that
yes,
the
you do.
case? Which will unnerve everyone else.
I'm devoted to the craft, but if we ever become like that, just shoot.
I'll put
me
you in
there.
your misery.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We get back to the party. Hey guys, word of warning, don't drink the beer.
I can't speak for anyone else, but I definitely was not planning to.
No.
We just met the most cuckoo for Cocoa Post bard.
Most bards tend to be in some way.
No, this guy takes the cake.
Speaking of beer, their process is pretty intricate. However, and I point to the wheelbarrows probably going up, they bring the beer and store it up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, we just
apparently
heard.
it gets really cold. Possibly due to ghosts.
Lady, what did they call her? Lady something?
Windermere, I don't listen to the ravings of madmen for very long.
Arbia Mundo.
Yeah, Lady that.
Alright. So they take the beer to the haunted castle.
Yeah. Other than that and the ghost lady, supposedly there's nobody else there.
Maybe the ghost lady doesn't exist. Maybe they just tell people that so they don't steal the beer.
This is what I was thinking.
But
Also, supposedly the blood mist is still in the east side of the castle and it turns the water red, but I think that might be something else.
I thought the captain did mention, though, there was a reward or whatever for clearing that place out.
Well,
in
let's
that
go
case,
clear it out.
we should, yeah. I guess they probably wouldn't mind us taking a
No,
look at
he
it.
didn't say anything about a reward, but he did seem very pleased with the idea.
A ghost is nothing compared to
Demon,
what we've dealt with.
tentacle children.
Right.
The lore roll, maybe, for whomever wants to do it? Who has the highest lore rating? Is it Ren?
B.
Soren or B. Or
Yeah,
not
I
Soren,
was-
sorry.
The others
Joshua
can
B.
help, of course, and give extra skill dice.
I
You can
will
add
give
a
a
s-
skill dice.
I will
Ooh,
also get a
skill
skill
dice.
dice.
Yeah.
It is 1,000% not so.
Because you all knock your heads together to figure out the weaknesses of a ghost.
That's just the 2 skill dice?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Do you want to push that?
That was...
I could use the willpower, so I guess I will this one time.
Wow.
Wow.
You have
Yeah, nope.
willpower. You are really frustrated because
Nah,
everybody's
I got nothing.
everybody's kind of talking at the same time, maybe, and apparently you and Brennar have completely different ideas about the vulnerabilities of ghosts and just can't agree on what the science, if you will, and lore of ghost hunting really is.
And
So,
Freda's
there
just
you
like,
are.
hey guys, remember that one time?
No. Just
I
stop.
can see it now. They're immune
Stop.
to silver.
Just-
no,
just-
it's birch boughs.
Just stop.
Exactly.
Just everyone stop. That's it. If you need me, I'll be in these trees.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Oh, and Captain What's-His-Face was leading a rust army?
No, Captain Cratulus was not leaving. He was looking at a Rust army walking by, and he was looking at it with longing in his eyes.
Ah. The thing.
Alright. But there was no rumors of like the ghost is guarding a treasure or anything of that nature.
They said she's a very fine lady.
Well,
There be treasures in
Are-
that castle.
Are you trying to appeal to Soren, the person who only wants compensation? Or Soren, the person who we've never seen demonstrate a desire to get to know someone for being a fine person?
Hey,
No.
Soren,
Fine as in wealthy, as in like lots of jewelry.
let's go to the place in all this whole village that there's no people. Like the castle.
I am on board with that.
Hey!
There you go.
No people and all the beer.
There, yeah.
Soren will vote for her.
Yeah, I'm not so interested in the beer. And honestly, the money is largely irrelevant as long as I have a bow, but we can't afford to, you guys can't afford to travel currently.
That is a problem. You still haven't accepted Cratulos's offer. I mean, it's no hurry. He's not gonna pester you. At least he seems to be busy with other things at the moment.
By the look of the rest of the condition of this village, his offer probably ends up in indentured servitude, though. So, yeah.
I won't be anybody's servant.
Oh, I was looking forward to getting you an outfit, even.
The soldiers of Kratulos look. I mean, they might not have the discipline of a regular army, but they do look, well fed and quite happy when they're at the tavern, and certainly several steps above the servants and slaves in the hierarchy here. So, in terms of social standing, they seem to be fine.
On our way up to the castle.
All right,
I think so.
up to the castle it is. Feel free to
well-
move the marker.
While we're heading up to the castle, I'll kind of like grab Brainard, since he seems to have a sensible head on his shoulders. Just kind of like hang back from the rest of the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is our goal here in this place? Like, we're just trying to get the coin so we can get back to the orcs, right?
Yeah, this is just a hop, skip, and a jump to get out of here. Personally, if Frida stays here for too long, she'll either get captured or used, and, Big probably would be a lovely addition to the inn as far as for some new music based off what Big was mentioning. And I don't foresee Celestial staying here any length of time either. Personally, this place gives me the willies. I haven't been this close to Rust in a really long time, and I'd like to stay that way.
Yeah, I don't trust any place that's got, temples.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it's
Considering
a short. Yeah, go ahead. I thought the scene was done. Go ahead.
Considering what I just seen in the church whenever Frida and I went in, yeah, I don't want to stay here longer than I have to.
You mean to tell me that you don't want to celebrate the next great holiday at the end of the month here?
Yeah, no. Yeah. For reference, Soren, it was almost ritualistic how she prayed to Rust and Heim whenever we went in the temple.
Peachy. Goddamn religious folks.
Yep.
All right. If this castle doesn't pan out, if there's no money to be made there, in the week or so you guys earn some silver in working for the guard, I can probably turn in a good amount of coin just hunting the hills nearby. So I think we can probably be on our way fairly quickly.
Yeah, I'm sure they can always use a smither here in the in Grindbone, so I can loan my services in more than one way.
But if it pans out, if there's stuff in the castle worth taking, then we can be on our way much quicker.
Yeah.
Perfect. Then I will put on my best smile and stride forward.
I will light the torch in the middle of the day.
Because you never know when you need that. All right, no, you're going up towards the castle ruin, which is looming above you and truly towering above the rest of the settlement. From, well, Frida's point of view, if she was here, she'll be right back in a moment. It is a very almost obvious choice to put a settlement on this hill, which you notice when you're walking up the path. This is a very flat area. You're right at the start of the plains, and just turning around and looking out across the palisades that surround the village, you just realize how much further back the horizon is now and how far away you can see. Certainly Celestial, who is so used to scouting and has a looking glass too, this is further than you've been able to see in well, since you joined up with this crew, basically. Except possibly when you were at sea, but then you were not quite that high up above the actual sea water level, if you will. And in game terms, certainly if you stand on top of the watchtower of the Stonefang castle, you will be able to scout into the neighboring hexes. This place gives a very good vantage point for watching the surrounding countrysides, so that a noble would have built a castle here, which would have acted like a lock for this entire area, much like Willow's Keep still does. It's not a surprise at all. And but now, of course, as impressive as it must have been in its heyday, now it is simply ominous, dilapidated, broken. The foundations are strong. If someone in the village cared to invest the coinage for it, it could probably be made much strong again. But that would require dealing with the current residents, I suppose.
I'm hearing reasons to burn them out.
On the eastern side of it, just as that bard said, there is water flowing down, and it is crimson in color, glowing almost like copper or possibly even lava in the morning sun. The west side is pale, almost white, grey-white color. And the closer you get to it, you will notice that it's not frost as it looks like. It's more mold, but it is cold as frost.
Oh no, cold mold.
And
The
you will
mold
have
looks-
you will see the wagon from the brewery standing outside there, and the people who went up before you, they're coming back out again. This time without the barrel and just grabbing the wagon and starting down again. There's also a couple of people up in a watchtower who are watching the planes. They're going to be soldiers.
Does the mold look familiar?
Not to your eyes, no. Never seen anything like it.
That was crazy light mold.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like the mushrooms that tried to eat me.
That was from the crazy light demon.
That would explain why everybody's batshit crazy and violent if the beer is being stored in demonic mold.
No, people are batshit and crazy because they're people.
Yeah.
You guys did not meet this bars. This is more than your
People are
average human
batshit.
crazy.
People are batshit and crazy because they follow the Rust Church.
That
Yeah,
too.
well,
Yeah, otherwise it's quiet up here. You can hear the birds, of course. There are quite a few roosting up there, and then sometimes going down to feast on things on the screaming mill down by the stream. But otherwise, compared to the rest of the village, it's very quiet up here. Peaceful, almost.
This is nice. Let's go in.
Yeah.
Don't touch the mold if you can help it.
It's the first time since you came here, when you're entering through the vault, the valve that was once the main gate to this fortress. The sounds of the tavern and the slave pens below just sort of drowns out by the thick walls. It is chilly in here, quite a bit chillier than outside.
It's comfortable. This is so much better. It's quiet. It's chilly. There's less people. I could. No, I can't actually.
Hmm.
Well, maybe if we kick at the demon and the ghost, she might be okay.
Well,
I
maybe.
wonder. I wonder if someone applied heat to the mold, if it would grow faster.
I pass my
Some
torch over
center.
to Celestial and say, "Here you go. You try."
How far away is the mold from us?
Well, you can get to it easily enough. It's, I would say, short range in terms
Yeah.
of combat distances.
I'll tear off a little piece of my shirt, I'll wrap it around an arrow, I'll light it, and I'll fire it at the mold.
Yeah, it goes stunk and just bounces away from it. The mold doesn't react in any way. There's a hole where the arrow impacted.
Okay.
It seems quite inert.
Alright. So it doesn't seem to react to the heat, so
No, it has exactly the same type of reaction that any plants would.
Too bad we didn't have like ice or something to test with. To see if maybe the mold is what's causing the cold.
Well, that's why I figured it might absorb the heat, and that's what helps it grow.
Maybe.
That's not a bad theory.
Like, I'll go over and I won't put the torch to it, but I'll hold it near it. See if it has, like, if the mold, like, not exactly pivots because it can't, but if it starts to, like, it almost looks like it's yearning towards it.
No.
Like when a flower opens.
No, it doesn't react at all.
Hmm.
it could just be a mold that grows in a cold climate.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
weird and unnatural to you, the hunter, and the druid, because it's, you know, if you go close with your hand, it does feel colder.
So it's a symptom, not its own thing.
It's definitely magical.
Yeah, it's definitely not natural. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in the woods.
No,
Do
but
we
it's
want to go
probably
further into the basement?
it's probably a twisting
Absolutely.
of the influence of the ghost's presence.
I take the torch back from Celestial
No, it's mine now. Yeah, you can have your torch back.
and walk in.
Very well.
Let's go fight some ghosts.
In you go. Yeah, your steps echo in the hallways of this ruin. Again,
So,
sturdy
none-
place it used to be.
None of the people stop us or say, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" or anything of that nature.
The people delivering
No,
the beer.
they seem, the assistants there, they seem very pleased to get out of here. Like, they're kind of hurrying up their steps. They glance towards you, but no, it seems in Grindbone that people mind their own business.
Are they all slaves too?
Hard to tell.
Probably.
They're not rich, definitely, by their tattered clothes, but they might be closer to stable hands and you know, helpers at a farm, that kind of level.
Paid.
Yeah.
Maybe they got a shitty job bringing crappy beer up to a haunted castle. Do you think they're doing this of their good nature or for coin?
I mean, they might be slaves in this town, but they might be slaves who have a much nicer job than some of the others have. Or
Slaves who
they're
are better taken care of.
or they are sort of lower class, farmer class people who don't have their own lot. They just, you know, handy folks who help out wherever an extra pair of arms are needed, and get paid by the day for, you know, as laborers.
Not slaves, but one step above.
Yeah, something like that. Hard to tell.
Are either of you, Celestial or Brainerd, can either of you like sense the presence of ghostly types?
Oh yeah, she's here. And Celestial, this is more probably my ball game than yours. It's definitely sorcerer.
Yes. Otherwise, the mist wouldn't be lingering in this one specific area.
Sure, it's not just a corruption of the jeweled person or something like before. Or we're hearing the voice from a ways away or something.
It could be. It's
It might
probably.
it might be an all of the above situation. Yes.
Yeah.
Tentacle
I won't-
monsters again. Great. Check all the
Expect-
boxes.
Well,
I
it looked like
tentacle monsters.
it looked like you were enjoying yourself. So I figured
Tentacle
we went
monsters were
across
kind
more.
of fun last time.
They even Freed enjoyed.
I enjoy hacking and slashing all kinds of creatures.
I will look down at both of my feet and say, yeah, last adventure went great.
I look back down at both of mine and say, yeah, totally.
Some of us,
Totally.
Fuck you both.
some of us towed the line, and some of us, came up
Jumped
with a
in 2 feet first.
Hey, it's only one, guys. It's only
Yeah.
one.
I
Is
still
this
have one
banter
foot.
among the adventures as you walk through the ruins of
Yeah.
the haunted
Yes.
ruins of Stonefang?
Yep.
Fair enough. Yeah, you're walking through the hallways here and there. I mean, that's for a tracker like Soren. It's not very hard to find where the assistants went, because that's the only place that and the guard tower. The guard tower that has the soldiers are on this western side, so you'd have to kind of walk over on that side, and it's a beaten track up there for them to get up there. But the assistants went in here. And they went down a flight of old worn stairs. They're cracked. There's some mold there on various patches. Probably some dripping water here and there. Kind of humid, really, here. Outside, the temperature is a nice spring-like 20 degrees centigrade, or heading towards it. Slightly, I'm going to peg it at 15 because it's still morning. So that's 70 Fahrenheit for Americans. But in here, it's, the temperature just drops rapidly. And soon enough, as you're walking down a flight of stairs that has, in fact, half of the stairs has like a wooden ramp that is completely flattened to allow the transport of beer kegs on it easily enough. And when you get down, sure enough, you have found a vault with beer barrels in it.
All right. If there's
We
anything
found
of value in here, it's not going to be where the assistants and the guards go.
we found the Anheuser-Busch Treasury.
Oh, there's a
but-
lot of beer barrels down here.
But just in case, can either Brainard or Celestial, since you guys are like the two smartest people I know, can you tell how close this storage area is to that frosty moss?
Oh, it's fairly close. Yeah, it is.
Like is the frost moss like on the other side of this particular wall?
Feels like it.
I can have you do a lore roll, I guess. This is like a forensic investigation, if you will.
You can go ahead, B, and I'll give you the +1 skill.
Just in case there is something to the idea that this moss is somehow tainting the beer.
Hey, it's a
Look at
success
that.
this time.
Celestial will use his detective powers and
My
just
special
sort of-
hat.
yeah, walking across the floor to measure out the distance down in the basement and compare that to what you had upstairs. Yes, the mold is probably on the other side of this wall, and that wall is very cold. Not quite
Makes sense.
freezing, mind you, but just above.
Since
Is there a
moss
way to
does
go-
spores hang in the air, especially in dead air places like this.
So yeah, there might be something to that idea.
Yeah.
But let's start searching around and see if there's anything of value. Because if we find anything of value, we don't have to stay in this shithole.
Big and I know when we see over above the average level of crazy.
Yeah, they were at the level of bad shit, just below cat shit, but really, really close.
Did I hear you speak of something of value? There's
Yes.
someone, in fact, standing there and looking at you. She is dressed in what must have been very beautiful dress in that day.
Brainhair, you're up.
Except, she is absolutely translucent, and you can see right through her to the wall.
Ghost lady?
Ghost lady.
Ghost lady.
She needs a theme song now.
In my home, something of value.
Raynar bows and says, "Nice to meet your acquaintance."
She holds out her hand.
Raynar will
I am Lady
attempt to.
Arbiamundo.
Raynar will attempt to interact and basically, kiss her translucent hand.
Ass.
Yeah, no. Judging by her face, she might have been middle-aged, something like that. There seems to be some gray strokes of hair through her hair, and it's she is dressed with a proper the attire of a noble lady, with head coverings and all, of the older lander culture. Yeah, the middle-aged perhaps. It's hard to tell with a translucent face whether there are wrinkles or not. What can I do for you? Welcome to my home. It's, I heard your voices and had to see who might be my new guests. Shall we, retire to, more congenial place, perhaps? The basement is not a place to sit, is it really?
No, it definitely is not.
Sure. Lead the way.
She will start walking up the stairs.
I will assume that our two magic type people know what the fuck they're doing, and follow them.
Rita
Good.
looks really excited to fight more undead demonic creatures.
This is the best assumption. We will pretend we know what we're up to.
Yep.
I'll just as a point of order for Celestial and Brynnar, the undead of the Forbidden Lands are not necessarily inherently evil,
No.
if you will.
Correct.
And that's also a point for the audience, perhaps. So, any given village, it's almost expected, that's how common it is, that some of the buried in the cemetery will either come back as ghosts or rise as ghouls or zombies sooner or later. And that might not be... ghouls are aggressive. Zombies may or may not be.
Sometimes zombies are just stupid.
Yes, sometimes they're just stupid. and
Sometimes
restless.
zombies just want to, carry packages for you.
And
If you're skilled enough.
it's not...
Zombie Express.
It doesn't happen in every village. It doesn't happen everywhere. But it's common enough for people to not be surprised if they're... So, when I say not be surprised, obviously meeting a walking skeleton while you're out hiking or in a village is a jarring experience for anyone, but it's not necessarily a sign of witchcraft or necromancy. That's my point.
Kinda like,
and people know that well enough.
Oh, it's like Brainard. He's going to survive on the fringes of not quite doing it.
Well, it's like I know bears live in the woods behind my house.
Yes,
But
exactly
but
like
if
that.
You have
if I
empirical
see a
evidence.
But if I see a bear, it's like, well,
Yeah, that's a good simile. Yes, with the difference that some of these are not as dangerous. I guess that goes for bears too. I am not in the habit of interacting with bears, so I
So
try
They
to,
just came to make sure that you were following their lord and master.
exactly. Anyway,
So it's more of like a side effect of the residual magic of the land?
that's a discussion again among theologians for sure. It might be. But this has been the order for as long as anyone can remember.
Part of the natural order sometimes.
Mhm.
It bends to
Possibly.
wheel and woe in equal measure.
Possibly. These
might be
are
the
cursed
bloodness
lands,
fault.
after all.
I blame Brainard.
Okay. Celestial didn't get his stuff together, so I had to do something about it.
Anyway, she's leading you up the stairs, and through the ruins of this once great fortress into what must have been a great hall. Not much in the way of furniture or anything like that left.
It's a pretty okay haul then.
Yeah, it's a large one, that's for sure. Here is where I usually entertain my guests. Alas, it's a bit draftier now than it used to be, and she points up to the non-existing roof. You can see right through to birds flying around. And of course there's a lot of foliage on the ground, dead leaves, old twigs, all sorts of stuff that have been accumulated here through weather and wind over the years. There! Welcome to Stonefang, as I said. Are you here
Thank
in
you.
quest for treasure?
Yes.
Yes, I see. It gets ever so lonely here, I have to say. It's nice to have someone to talk to for once. The living of the village tend to shun me. I don't know whatever could have given them that impression. I tried to be the model of decorum, but I'm sure that it's my neighbor that is to blame.
Who's your neighbor?
Quite likely.
As an aside to Brian, I'm just gonna under my breath and be like, does she know she's dead?
I don't think so.
I don't
Okay.
think we should be the one to tell.
No.
Um, about your neighbor, though, is that the one giving everyone the cold shoulder around here?
No, the mold. That is, I had a suitor once, and he was the vindictive type, a sorcerer, He put a hex and a curse on this place. I hope his
Sorcerers.
bones never found rest.
Sorcerers, they could be so fickle and quick to turn.
Indeed.
Would it help if we could get or remove the curse?
Did he speak of a way to break it?
I do not know that there is a way to break the curse as such, but I was never skilled in the sorcerer's ways, nor in the druidic. But I can say that my neighbor has nothing to do with the curse. My neighbor appeared much later, when there was I don't know the gender of that thing, if they even have one. There were plenty of them for the longest time, pestering everyone around here. Now, most of its family are gone. I'm very pleased. It was a very extended family and terribly annoying. They had such revelries during the nights. You could hardly sleep. Not that I ever really sleep anyway. Still, it was most impolite. They had no sense of finesse, etiquette, how to
Propriety.
behave in civilized company. Barbarians, the lot of them. And there is still one of them left.
What is it?
They called themselves bloodlings, I think.
Radar. Do we know what that is?
Ooh, can I roll this one?
Yes, you can.
Yes.
You say that they've been here for a while. How long have you resided here in this castle?
I've lost count entirely.
Do you know of the mists?
Yes, it was very misty for a good long while. So many seasons, I lost count entirely. I don't even know. But it's been clear now for a little while, hasn't it? The weather is much improved. I do like that. It's
Very
been more
much so.
people coming and going to the village. That brings some life to it,
Did you live here in the castle when the mists came in?
Well, I was here. Yes, but I can tell you it was long after my suitor was gone, yes.
The bloodlings that you're referring to, I think they actually caused some of the mist.
Didn't somebody say that there was some elements of the mist still hanging around?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was on the
Bar.
eastern side.
Turns the water red.
That is indeed where the thing lives and makes its den, if they have such a thing. I can say this though, since you're being so polite, so much nicer than most people I try to interact with, they just scream and run. Superstitious people. But since you're being
don't
so
run
nice
so
and
well.
polite, I can say that there is a treasure here.
It's
My
not
treasure-
simply yourself, milady?
No, well, you are so nice. Look, what a nice boy.
Move, Celestial!
What a nice boy. Yes, there is a treasure here. It's my treasure. Yes, the family heirlooms, as it were. I have some difficulties using them nowadays. You know where I put it?
In the east side of the castle?
In the east side of the castle, indeed.
Oh, my lady.
I cannot do anything about that bloodling, I'm afraid. But maybe people
we
like
can.
you, she's looking at the sword on Frida and the equipment that this motley crew carries.
I have a big. I know how to use it.
What?
I have a big, and I know how to use it.
You are half-elves, are you not, looking at Celestial and Brenna?
Yes.
I hear they have a very strong connection with the ether, though I was never a student of such forces myself. Perhaps that
You're-
could help you.
You're quite well informed.
I don't mean to generalize, of course.
No, there are differences, but for the most part, both main branches are quite attuned.
Very good. Well, that is at least the situation here. And I would be ever so grateful if my neighbor was encouraged to move out in one form or another. It would feel more like home that way.
Well,
Understandable.
This was never
think-
intended
I
to be a shared residence in that sense. You understand?
I do think that everything kind of dovetails fairly well.
Yes,
Yeah.
Celestial, I think this is something that we should be able to deal with.
You're an absolutely charming hostess. I wish more people were like you.
Oh, you're much too kind. She sort of blushes and moves a handkerchief up to the extent that a ghost can blush.
I think that's the most psychopathic thing Soren said yet.
And at the same time, it is very Soren.
That,
The
that's how
most
you-
Soren thing he said the whole time, too.
That's how you can tell that Beak has high empathy and Soren does not. Is there anything that we should know about this blood thing? Blood?
How to
in,
defeat
blood...
it.
Oh, I know nothing of such matters. I am the lady of the manor. I tend to the household. I make sure that things run smoothly. You know, this place really could do with a bit of a touch-up. It could be a glorious place again with the right hand.
Absolutely.
Sure,
The,
it's quite
str-
a
the
stronghold.
strength of the foundations speak well to the potential power of the place.
I would agree with that. Yes, quite so.
Well, I think as Celestial said, I think your neighbor can be dealt with. I think it's within our capacity.
So
That sounds wonderful.
we head over to the east wing.
Yes, if you could show us where your neighbor resides from here.
Well, I'm not sure it has a den as such. It's wandering those hallways. I do not go there nowadays because it's just a nasty experience, you understand.
So, just for my own reference, it has it ever harmed you in the past?
Well, yes. Well, it's been bothersome, I should say.
Okay.
Going into that mist is not a very pleasant experience.
Okay. So yeah, do we want to make our way over to the east side of the castle?
All right.
Before
How?
we
Go ahead,
we
sorry.
go, you said that your treasures, your family heirlooms, were on that side. If we were to acquire these for you, what would we be looking for? Or would you like us to just let you know when your neighbor's gone and you can acquire them yourself?
Oh, yes. Yes. That sounds like an amazing proposition. I mean, a lady should not boast, but I am quite fond of those heirlooms, and I can tell you one or two things passed down from my mother, you understand.
Oh, no doubt. Such storied and refined pieces.
I would love to hear about it. I am such a history buff.
So you move towards the eastern side of the castle, looking for a bloodling of all possible things.
Yeah.
At this point, I stand a little bit back and catch up to Celestial or hold back to Celestial. And say,
I'm usually in the fourth slot in our order.
and say, so, how do you want to do this?
Well, I mean, we have to purge it regardless. That seems...
Do you have any means to remove it? Banish? If not, I have the means to take it under my control and ask it politely to move.
We have ways and means. I mean, we do have a enchanted sword leading a wolven warrior goddess, so...
I'll take it.
Well,
we
would
have
that remove
options.
the
I mean,
curse?
that is on the table, but I think we have other options before we run the risk of backlash.
My biggest concern is dealing with the blood mist.
And that's part of why I'm worried about potentially making a connection if it is the source in the area.
Okay.
We don't know how that'll interact with things because it has a bad history.
Yep. Well, you're walking around in the eastern side. The torch is there. It's not going to help a lot to illuminate, but I know it's not there for that purpose.
Never is.
It's warmer on this side. Clearly that mold, cold mold on the west side is confined to that area, and the effects of it do not penetrate through the walls and into the eastern side.
So it's more likely definitely linked to her curse.
Yeah, to sorcerers.
I'm
But
gonna
as
have
you
my,
march through... Yeah, go
I
ahead.
wonder if that's how we break it. If we, like, burn off the mold.
You just probably need to dispose of the body properly.
I'm gonna have my bow ready.
probably-
just in case.
Probably related to some limerick about her being cold-hearted to him.
Oh, that's awful, but yes.
I don't think there's a heart left for me to eat.
Mm.
You said we had to dispose of the body properly.
Yeah, that's not how, civilized people do things.
It could simply require someone to romance the poor dear dead lady's heart to bring the heat back to her soul.
You've already
Wolfkin
set the ground
Bag,
for
not-
that.
not it.
perfectly syphilized.
Civilized.
All you,
Civilized.
Celestial.
Not civilized, syphilized.
Civilized. I said
Syphilis.
civilized.
Syphilis.
Civilized with a V. God damn it.
Really close.
With a
Syphilis.
As you talk about these things, there is a distinct change in atmosphere in
I never
this
noticed.
place. It's not.
Like this.
It's warmer here, but it's definitely less hospitable, darker, perhaps, brooding. It's like the walls are watching you now, in a decidedly hostile manner. You can see, in fact, streams of water here and there on the east side, and they're all deeply
Crimson.
rust red.
I'll definitely have my bow ready.
And as you move through this place, let's see, we need your tokens here, clearly, don't we?
At some point.
That's a very big token. Why is it so big?
Because I made the party one at party is currently at half size.
Okay.
It's at 0.5.
Yeah, well, feel free to modify them as best as you can. It comes through the wall like a shadow in a shadow. And moves towards the rest of you. And with that, I think it's time to roll initiative.
Oh joy.
Exactly. No, not that.
Perfectly average.
Where's my initiative roll again? It's been a while since I did this.
We've got the macro for it as number 1.
Ah, smart. There we go.
Table needs to be reset because I can't.
Oh, okay. Reset. Sorry about that.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna channel the power of the High Lord of Isle.
Should I add Big and
Oh,
Soren?
that's not good.
Who else is missing?
I clicked my token and then
Brennan
clicked
is
on the sword and shield, so I am in
Yeah.
the initiative chair.
You are, yeah. And Frida's early on in the initiative as
No,
well.
I'm not.
No, Frida forgot to hit the 0.
Oh, okay. So she's in fact the last.
Yeah, this
That's not so good.
isn't gonna go well.
On the bright side, if there's cleaning up, there's a good cleanup team. Big head of 5.
Oh, we get a 5?
Yeah,
There we
big
go.
head of 5.
Sorry about that.
I missed something, but I got a 5.
Yeah, okay. No, that was my bad. All right, the bloodling comes at you through a wall, and I will move it. Well, it's going to come through a wall, and I'm going to say that it's going to be moving into near distance.
But who is it nearest to?
Yes, that's a good question. It's going to be a D5, I suppose. I'm just going to roll a D6
I
here.
feel it approaching me. I can
Yes.
feel it.
Um, It is indeed approaching Celestial. It's going to get within near range first, of course. And then I'm gonna do an attack for it, which is only gonna be something that can affect you on near range. And that means a D3, actually, because some of its attacks have that range. There we go.
This is not a thing I can parry, I assume?
That's correct. Unless otherwise stated, you cannot parry attacks from monsters. It embraces Celestial
Oh, buddy, I missed you too.
Oh, that doesn't
and
sound good at
tries
all.
to suck his life out through the
Nope.
mouth and eyes.
Nope. Nope.
Ragnar,
will,
burn it with fire. We'll
Roll
heal
for-
Celestial after.
It's a fear attack.
Jeez.
Wow.
2 points of damage to your wits.
That could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah.
You're feeling how it's just all around you, and its long arms, like tendrils of shadow, surround you, and then it's trying to even enter your very body, your lungs. And there is that slight tinge of panic gripping your heart, but it's not enough to break you.
This will not pass.
Um,
With a
Damn blood
potential
spot.
one-hit cripple.
exactly.
It's a potential one-hit cripple when I'm at full.
And that's its turn. It is now Big's turn.
Big. Don't go small, go big.
Go big or go home, and go home sounds pretty good.
Tell it how stupid it is.
Yeah, but that wouldn't even work. They're not sentient, so.
What are you gonna do?
Can you sing Celestial's wits back?
I think I could with my talent.
You can, yeah.
Yeah. I guess I will do that since they lost a point of wits.
2. I'm down 4 altogether because of my
Oh.
earlier forcing, but
Right.
did
Song
2.
grants a portion of your power to one of your comrades within long distance. No, that's willpower. Celestial is not broken, so rank
No.
1 doesn't help.
Right.
Rank 2, then you can get 1 point back
Yeah.
for that willpower. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll spend a willpower and use the point.
Okay. Yeah, you start singing a soothing song, practically in Celestial's ear, and it is indeed soothing. You regain 1 point to your wits.
nice.
And with that, it's Celestial's turn. You have been embraced by a bloodling.
You bear claw your
Dude.
way out of this?
So I was like, did it feel like it had a physical form, or
It's-
geez?
Yeah, well, some kind of cold, like the grave touch, yes.
Oh.
But not so physical that you can touch it with your hands. But you can always try. If you want to invoke the powers of magic.
Yeah, I will. I'm not going to go all in on this one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use a Bear's Claw and 1 willpower boosted to 2, so it's a power 3, but only 2 roll.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Oh,
That's supercharged it.
yeah.
Describe how you're reaching out into the ether.
Well, it did try and draw forth some of my own life essence, which
Yes.
means that the very air around me is charged with my ether as well as the ether of the land.
Yes.
So in an instinctive moment, I reached forth to forge the connection between myself and the energy of the land and lash out with the pure power of nature's bear into its essence.
And your hand literally transforms into a bear's claw. And you just sweep against this bloodling. And it's just misty smoke that whirls around your paw.
I had a feeling, but hey.
At least it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
You. That was your slow action. You do have a fast action too.
It's not moving.
It's not moving.
I will, for what good it will do, I'll ready my staff.
Okay. Soren, you're up.
Okay, so his claw just went right through it.
Yes.
We don't want to hit Celestial.
No.
Hard.
I will try to shoot it just in case. I'm going to aim. I'm going to. Can I? Weird question. If I move, do I lose my aim? Because I can move and shoot as the same action.
Yes, I think you do. You lose your aim.
Even with the shot being a part of that action, still.
Because I know if I aim, I have to shoot as my next action.
Yeah, maybe.
I have to aim and shoot in the same round.
Yes. Well, I'm not sure you have to be honest.
You do actually. You do have to aim and shoot.
Okay,
in the
fair
same
enough.
round.
Yep.
Yeah. And you will be shooting in the same round.
Hmm.
Shooter.
I have the Legolas talent, so.
You have the Lego set talent?
So if I can, I'm going to aim and shoot. And move away. Because fuck that guy.
Rolling
Okay.
armor.
Go
That
ahead.
was a 4 damage attack.
So you think. It doesn't look like it's been affected by 4 points of damage, I'll tell you that.
So I'll get 2 damage on it. I'll spend a willpower to ignore his armor just in case that's a thing.
Fair enough.
Does that seem to have had any effect?
You shoot, that's how many points of damage? 3 points?
It's 2 points ignoring any
2
armor.
points, ignoring armor. The arrow goes into the mist. It's probably slowing down a little and sweeps some mist with it as it hits the wall behind it, but the bloodling isn't screaming or anything.
Okay, I will spend a willpower to shoot again.
Very good. That is a miss. It is hard to hit it. It's not very clear to you, so.
I'll push it.
Ooh, that's a lot of willpower
Oh,
points.
shit. That's that's.
But you didn't break your bow.
I'm up to 10 willpower, but holy crap! I wrenched something. That moving and shooting at the same time.
You were just not
Bastard.
paying attention to the ground under you, and you must have stepped on something that sprained your ankle pretty intensely. An old branch, something like
Yeah.
that.
Bad freaking idea.
That
But-
old ankle
But you did
injury.
hit something, maybe. Possibly.
And
Hard to tell
again-
with this misty thing.
Yeah. Again, I will spend a willpower to ignore armor if it matters, because I've got 10 willpower. There's no reason not to.
Exactly. It might have made a difference. Hard to tell. And
Might
with
still
that-
better language than I got.
Yeah. And with that, we go to Brennar.
So, seeing the fact that he just got paw punched and nothing happened, and 2 arrows just flew right through it, Brainer holds out his hand and says, "I will bend you to my will," and I'm doing Bind Demon.
Very good. Roll for Binding Demon. Reach out into those sorcerous secrets of forbidden lore.
Oh man, I went to see
Sorry,
what my
I don't
magic
have healing
sword
too.
did.
So I've got extra willpower to spend here,
Yep.
and I keep always having fun with this stuff. So
You have a pentagram, I take it?
no, I do not.
Okay.
So I don't have the extra power boost from that, but I do
Yes,
from.
you do.
It's not in my inventory list, and it can only be used once, and then it's burned.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why we collect paws and claws.
It kind of
Yeah.
melts and
Yep.
dissipates because of it draws upon those eldritch powers.
We need to just tattoo a pentagram on you.
so
No,
that he can
'cause
give
then
up
it'll-
his
Demon-
body.
will be able to resist it with an insight roll.
Yep.
That doesn't necessarily mean that its insight is particularly strong.
My only question is, just based off the description, can I spend multiple willpower on this, and it's more
Absolutely.
attempts?
Absolutely. The more you get, so it will roll insight minus your power level,
Okay.
and
Right,
it
here
really
goes
depends on
an-
how intelligent this being is, which you don't really know.
Here goes the fun of either Brainar blowing up or the latter.
Please don't die.
He does not die.
Yes!
Describe to us what
Yes.
happens when Brenar reaches out into these unholy powers.
Yeah, so it's strangely odd, but it's almost like Brainar feels at home in this,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of reaches into the ether that's there in the room, and that's darkness, and
No,
basically
parents.
attempts to bind it to its will.
As you do, I mean, for your vision, you have trained for this as a sorcerer. You can see into the etheric plane, and as you do, you reach out with your hands and you grab these tendrils of power that fluctuate beyond the vision of a normal person, and you simply bind it with shackles of ether. And as you do this, those shackles come upon its arms and legs, and it can't move anymore. It's just standing there and then bowing in deference to the sorcerer that has clearly overpowered it.
Did you
now
just
have-
bind the goddamn blood mist?
Yep. He has, in fact, bound a bloodling. And you will be able to bind it for a quarter day. It will obey your commands.
If I attack it, will it fuck that up?
No.
I tell it to leave. I actually say, leave the druid alone.
It immediately moves backwards towards the wall. It's kind of half inside the wall now, but not quite.
It's under our control now, folks.
Do you want me to still try to kill it?
No.
How long is it under your control for?
Probably for a quarter of the day. Long enough that I can, and Celestial can figure a more proper way of removing this. Alternatively, we get to tell it to leave.
Can you tell it to, go kill all the slavers in town?
That might take more than a quarter day.
DM, side question. Would that take more than a quarter day?
That's an excellent question, isn't it? That depends entirely on how strong the Rust Brother might be. The Rust Brother might have the same powers as you. It could just override your commands. Or break the spell.
Bloodlink ping pong.
That's awesome.
Ping pong. But I mean, it's as you've just tasted, a terrifying opponent. Not easy to kill at all. Possibly.
Yeah, so I don't know what you want to do with this, Celestial. I have
Rather
another.
be rid of it, but
I have another alternative to it, but you're not going to like it, and it's very dangerous for me.
Oh,
I can
it's not talking half measures.
Okay, let's not talk in half measures. I can bind it to an object, and it will never walk on this plane again.
What effects would that have?
Its powers beyond my knowledge, but it is a ritual, and I can do it. But there might be a sacrifice required out of this.
Don't
Now,
die.
Now, when you say sacrifice,
I mean, in the fact that it is knowledge beyond my knowledge.
He
I've
means
seen
it might kill him.
I've seen it done once, and with trying to draw on that.
Similar to if I was to simply try and banish it right now. It's beyond my training. Not
Correct.
beyond my ken or my reach, but it is beyond my training.
You've got it.
Basically,
Exactly,
they got
Celestial.
the power to do it, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Hey, that just means it might go bad ways. Backwards the wrong time.
Yeah, I've already watched one druid explode that way. Thank you. I don't care to watch another.
I'm glad that you care.
So, the quarter day is wasting away.
This is just a few minutes now.
The quarter day
So-
is wasting.
So, I'm going to look into the magic side of things for a moment, looking at the demon,
Yep.
and politely tells it to remove all of the blood mist from the eastern side of the castle.
It just kind of reaches out. It's your sense of this demon is it's purely emotion and instinct. There doesn't seem to be any intelligence to it at all. But yeah, the blood mists are clearing. The red mists that have been here are just kind of slowly being absorbed by the shadow that's standing in front
Oh.
of you, and looking more
That
and
does
more
confirm.
corporeal the more it sucks
Oh.
those blood mists in.
We may have more options.
It's
Does
still
anybody
not
wanna
as,
go get
as
the lady
solid
of the
as any
house?
of you, but it's a swirling mass of mist at this point.
well, she just said that she wanted it out of the house. I don't think. Well, okay.
If she couldn't, she has no way of dealing with it.
I'm all in favor of just releasing it in the town, but some of you have like morals and shit.
Oh, I don't care how many fucking slavers you kill.
Oh,
I'm just worried about it expiring before it gets done.
So, you know what? Slavers or thieves? Which is worse?
slavers.
Slavers.
Kill
Players.
both and release the slaves.
So we could politely, and this also inadvertently also fix Cartulus's issue. Remember, he
Cleans
wanted
up the town.
them.
I'm not a fan of the thieves here either, but slavers are worse.
It
I
just
just-
judging
Having-
by how it feels to you, Renar, it might not be able to distinguish between thieves and slavers and stuff. It's like people,
Sure.
right? It's
Yeah, so I'll have trouble. Well, unless all the slaves are manacled, it might kill all the slaves too.
I will just go on record here, though, because some of you may care about this sort of thing. By doing this, when they say, "Oh, you're the demon worshippers," you can no longer say no.
That worshipping is not happening here.
Yeah,
We don't worship what we're controlling.
that
I think
still
of us
would
more
rather
like
it just be
Ghostbusters.
destroyed.
that's not better. You get right.
hashtag trucking with demons.
Frida,
You have bound a demon to your will to set it
Frida.
upon your enemies.
Yes.
That's
would you mind indulging me in experimenting with your sword on it?
I would be happy to.
I don't know how that's gonna react. I don't know if it'll defend itself, and that's what Brainar exactly says.
You can pull it off me, right?
so. Are
Sure.
Okay. Frida draws her sword.
and I mean, you in this darkness, you can actually see that the emerald is glowing
Yeah.
slightly under the leather.
Seeing as it's standing still, do you still want me to roll?
Yes, because I need to know how much damage you actually do.
In case this thing breaks free, I will stand beside Frida. I'll like draw my axe that I rarely use.
And I'm
And-
ignoring its armor.
Actually, no, I better shoot it. Then I can ignore it.
Do you get any bonuses though for it being? I could give you the equivalent of bonus for lying prone or such like.
Oh, well, I hit.
Yeah. Yes, you do. That's...
And I ignore armor.
Okay, that's 1 point of... No, it's 3 points of damage, isn't it? For that blade.
Yeah, because it does 2 on its own.
Okay, then it's 2 points of damage, yeah. You draw that sword, and you
Oh no,
cleave through that mist, and the mist sort of rolls around it, and then reforms, perhaps a little bit less stable than it was before. It's fluctuating, it's dancing back and forth.
There's slightly less mist here now, and so it did have an impact.
just for fun, instead of trying to like slice it, I just kind of gently poke it with the sword and see if it just kind of sucks it up like a vacuum.
You can thrust and do a stab with the sword, yeah.
With a
Do you want me
flourish of
to-
your wrist like go-go magic webs.
Go
Do you want me
ahead
to
and
roll again? Okay.
You only get the D8 artifact die because you only have a single enemy at this point.
Yeah.
Look at
Ooh.
that. So that's 4 points of damage to it. Are you
So
ignoring
it does
armor
kind
again?
of suck it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the end of my willpower, though.
Ugh.
For now.
And yeah, there's a good deal less of the mist left.
So it does
Wait.
kind of like suck it up almost like a vacuum.
A little bit, but it's still
The
there. It's
sword
kind of
loves it.
you can feel there, Brennar, that it's in pain by now.
I can like hack and slash at this shit all day.
But it's not like it hasn't broken free when she attacked it or anything.
No, it's under his control. I don't
So
see anything.
I can just keep.
I don't
going.
see anything here in the.
Now
Fine.
this Celestial can definitely work with.
Go ahead.
So Frida will continue to hack and slash and let the sword just absorb the mist.
I just have to double check that it doesn't.
Get another
but I don't.
break
I don't
attempt.
think there's anything. No, it's bend the demonic creature from to your will. Yeah, it doesn't say anything that attacking it will actually break the spell. I guess if you bind a demon and does bad things to it and then lets it go, it's gonna do bad things.
You have to deal with
It's
the
gonna hate me.
retribution
Yep.
normal,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, but no, it doesn't seem like there is
So
any penalty for attacking it.
so yeah, Frida will just continue to hack and slash with the sword till it's gone.
Yeah, and well, in that case, it will in
Worship
fact
this,
dissipate.
Yeah.
with
Worship this, motherfuckers!
a wail when you finally manage to.
I assume after this bit of a feast, the sword is quite satisfied.
It fills you with righteous anger. You have cleansed the land from evil again.
Frida's got kind of like a wild, excited look on her face. Like she's really like enjoying this.
She's salivating.
Yes.
A little bit.
And with that, of course, that oppressive feeling in this part of the castle dissipates.
I specifically do not de-knock my arrow until she puts the sword away.
It's like
Oh,
this.
and I'll make sure that I'm far enough away that she can't get to me and attack.
Well, that's
like
that's
this
easy.
horrible-
You just don't be in near.
Yep.
Wretched feeling has just gone away now, and you can breathe easier. It's almost like it's a bit brighter, even though it isn't. The waters
feels
seem
brighter.
to clear up too, and no longer flow red.
So Frida will sheathe the sword, kind of like, and then you guys might want to go get the lady now.
That went surprisingly well.
I guess I'll head back to the not too bad, but not really that great hall.
Who knew my sword works like a vacuum for the blood mist?
Having a sorcerer around that can pacify demons turns out to be useful, at least in this case. Of course, it was only the one bloodling. Confronting several could be iffier.
Yeah. At least now I know that the bloodling is a demon of some sort.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I didn't know either, Soren.
Oh, good.
And it's just like it calling over his shoulder, and the mists are attached to it as well.
Good. I'm glad your Hail Mary plan worked there then.
Yep.
That is actually really super interesting information, considering there's still bits of mist around.
It's probably bloodlings running around.
She did say that most of its family moved on.
Most
of its family moved on. Yeah, you make it your way across, and in fact, you meet her on the way. Oh, look at you! Aren't you clever? One can breathe much easier now, she says.
Absolutely.
Glad you're happy.
Maybe Stonefang has taken its first step back to its former glory. One can only hope, right? Yes, I believe so.
Agree.
Frida just looks giddy.
Lady,
Well-
do you happen to know where you reside within here?
Well, I can certainly guide you to the family heirlooms, if you will. You've definitely earned them, I have to say. As much as I hate to part with them, I have to admit to myself that I have, well, maybe not so much use for it anymore, you understand. It's hard to wear rings and necklaces and such like in my present condition.
This is true. A shame, but true.
Needs must and all that. But I have a feeling that maybe some of my little trinkets could look wonderful on and then she looks towards Frida a moment, and then she looks towards Big on you, my dear.
She's your biggest fan.
I think you can we'll dress up absolutely nicely in some of these little family trinkets, and she leads you through the hallways and in the eastern end towards a chamber in an upper level, and you see, this used to be my bedroom, and I haven't seen it for so long. And you can sort of tell that it must have been a bedroom. There's the rotting remains of a 4-poster bed that has nothing much in it. Birds must have nested in it so many generations now, until the blood mists came and destroyed that. And here, you see, if you look in the fireplace, I was clever in my day. And she sort of touches with her translucent hand. If you touch this stone, which I can't do anymore, you will find a hidden cache here. And there you will find my little trinkets.
So I'll touch where she touched, almost as if brushing hands, but not quite, obviously, because ghost.
Celestial, you flirt.
I know. I'll even show a little ankle.
Just stay away from the pottery.
And
Let's see
we'll
now.
draw out the trinkets.
Yep, let's have a look at what it might be. I will roll on precious carried finds a few times. And if it's not reasonable, we won't use it. But that's... Well, some gold coins?
Yeah.
More gold coins? There has to be some jewels in there, too. Really? Come on now. Jewels. I want my jewels. No, it's not a
What?
golden large
I'll
shield.
take a large shield, thank you.
No. Not a large shield. Definitely
that's
not.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
it's behind
no.
this one little stone.
Come on. I want
Well, we
some
got a
jewels
half-decent
here.
bag-
No.
we got a pretty
no.
good bag of
That's
gold.
too many golds. We've had golds already. No more golds. No more golds, I say. I want
So we
some
got
jewels.
14
We
gold.
said jewels. There we go.
And
Pearls.
her pearls.
Finally. And I want one. I'll give you 2 more jewel finds.
Another pearls.
Yeah, and it'll be the last one. Nope, not a unique book. And yes, a gold bracelet. That's great. That's a
14
nice
gold,
little cash.
Two sets of pearls and a gold bracelet.
This is literally more money than we've ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
It surely is.
I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed her diary disappeared. So
Yeah. And that giant golden shield that somehow fit in this tiny spot.
it didn't say it
could
was
totally
giant.
have used
Could have
that.
been like that big. Could have
It
been a mouse
could have
shield.
been like a belt.
No, it said
Look.
large. It said large.
Large is relative. I'm large
guess.
for my people.
Are
It could
you?
have been large for a squirrel.
I'm small for my people.
I'm intrigued by
I'm
the fact that
Afroge.
I'm intrigued by the fact that big is big among her people.
That's why her name is Big.
Yeah.
It's not a name, it's a descriptor. We're not even friends yet. We don't know her name. My people call me Big because she's tall.
Now I have a question for you guys. Who has the highest reputation score among you?
Brain.
Braynar, I think.
6.
I got a 4, yeah, so that's
Mine's a 5, so Braynar.
Okay,
Mine's
roll
a
that,
2.
please.
How the heck?
Because I did some demon slaying stuff.
Oh.
Literally, my moniker is the Demon Slayer.
And I've been seen using magic for good. Same as Braynar has, but you know.
Braynar's old. It gives
Yeah.
you a higher reputation.
So feel free to roll
I'm
it.
young, that dirty old man. When
Feel
I'm
free to roll.
Braynar's age, I'll have at least twice his reputation.
Mm. Alright. As you're standing here and cackling over the treasure that you
Cackling.
found in this place, someone might just speak to you, recognizing you.
Oh,
Hello?
I believe
You don't know
guessed.
how she got up there. She's sitting in the empty window in the castle ruin.
Reader
She
redraws her
has-
sword.
She has large white hair that seems to
Does she-
move almost
does
on
she-
its own.
Does she look like someone that might have a bounty on her?
No, I mean you don't know what Arvia looks like, so you have no idea.
The Twitch windows are all askew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
But
know.
That's what happens with an extra body.
Yeah. I've put her likeness there on the Foundry map. I'm fixing the windows here as I go. Yeah, that's she's sitting up there looking at all of you.
Yeah, no, my sword is drawn. Who the fuck are you?
It's a fair question.
Hello, adventurers. I've heard many stories. You? My name is Ferelda.
And what can we do for you? Because, yeah, you're sneaky. Who are you?
This is up at a great height too.
Yep.
Rita looks a little shaken. She doesn't like being snuck up on.
I do apologize. it's so difficult to know who to trust in these situations. So I apologize if my manner of approach is disconcerting.
What do you need?
How may we be of assistance?
I am looking for Terramalda. Have you seen this entity?
Sorry, who?
Terramalda.
Is that's the lady?
Once was, from what I understand.
She was right here.
Her essence was here a moment ago.
That was the ghost lady. It was not called Terramalda at all.
Ah.
Oh, sorry.
It was Arbia.
So many of them. So many names.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm shit with names.
That name doesn't sound familiar.
No.
Nope. Same here.
You say was a lady.
Now no longer really recognizable as human, you see.
The rust or demon influence or both?
Yes.
Well, that makes sense why you're looking for us then.
Interesting. What makes you say that?
We just got rid of a bloodling.
Excellent.
You
It
said
seems
you've
that-
heard stories about us. I'm assuming they're about us killing demons.
Indeed. One wonders about stories. One hears a lot of them. It's never clear which ones one should believe. But it seems that you are just as powerful as the stories say.
Well,
How have you been enjoying your time in Grindbone?
yeah.
Various
No.
degrees of shitty.
Our time in the castle ruins has been magnificent for the most part.
Lovely. Grindbone, not so much.
It's not my favorite place, I must confess.
Yeah, I don't like people. I don't like slavers. I don't like thieves. I don't like towns. It's been swell.
He also doesn't like noise.
Noise is fun. You know what's really nice? The noise in the woods, the sound of a babbling brook, falling trees, thunder, all
The
that stuff.
squirrel in your backpack.
The squirrel in my backpack was better than this fucking town.
We have that in common, I much prefer it to myself. But it's must at times. I imagine we're here for similar purposes. In some ways, at least.
So what are your purposes?
I am looking to understand what it is the Rust Brothers are up to.
And who are you organized with? How do we know that you're not a roast brother just going ahead and politely trying to set a trap?
Do I look like a Rust Brother?
I'm
You
a
have to give-
sorcerer.
You
and
have to give her that. It's no tentacles or obvious mutations, which most of them tend to carry.
We all know that things are not always as they seem.
That is rare. I am a shapeshifter myself, after all, so I appreciate the status. So, as it happens, well, if what I'm about to tell you overheard in certain circumstances, it would lead to my death. So I hope that it will be enough to attest to my identity. My full name is Verelda Bloodwick, and I am the leader of the Raven Sisters.
That's not doing much for you, sweetheart.
All right.
Sorry, I've already killed 2 Raven sisters that were possessed and in league with demons. So
I have heard that there were Rust Brothers spreading lies to that effect. It's unfortunate that you believe them.
those weren't lies.
I see. Well, I suppose I should leave you to your business then.
So, Telemartar, if we find it, you want it killed? Is this, or just looking for more information on it? Is it the Rust brother?
If you are capable of taking down such an entity, I believe that would contribute considerably to the cause of peace in this realm.
Any idea where we can find it?
Although any information you might have would be appreciated as well.
Okay. And
For such a blatant presence, it's surprisingly hard to find.
And to provide insight on the Rust brothers here, they did leave with an army relatively recent, is that correct, from here?
Yes.
And went north.
Interesting.
Yeah, they passed through here.
Don't get me wrong. We don't like Rust Brothers. We really, really don't. I'm just being a Raven sister doesn't automatically make you a good guy either.
Oh, I'm aware. There is all manner of stories, but I hope that having disclosed my identity allows you to trust that I am who I say I am, because it would do me no good to take on that identity here, of all places.
That is fair.
That was a great roll, Michaela.
Good try.
I thought so. I trust them implicitly.
I don't, but I have been spending time raising a rank and not being taken in.
Yeah,
You don't trust nobody for nothing. So
Plus, I did ask Michaela
who's the
about
best
something.
with insight here? That would be Celestial, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? Is Verelda even
Normally.
attempting to hide her purposes?
Are you directly asking me?
Yep.
No, not especially. In fact, she blatantly
enough.
straight up said what it was that she was
Yeah.
hoping for.
Feel free to roll your insight there, Celestial, to judge her candor.
I mean, it is a considerable risk to out myself as a Raven sister in the middle of freaking Grindbone.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
On the other hand, Wolfkin are seen as demon-tainted by the Rust Brothers, so... and right now, just
On the other hand, maybe that's just what I want you to think.
Yes. Just to set the scene, I mean, you're up here in the Stonefang Tower, so you're well away from the village. This is probably the only place where you can be, where you can have a good private conversation with these ones. Yeah, no, she seems completely honest to you, Celeste.
And that's without me throwing in my
Yep.
my blessing at seeing through people.
Yep.
So you're just looking for information, and if we find this person and can deal with them, then we do so.
Yes. And should you decide to do so, I would be more than happy to assist.
I'm all for killing more demons, don't get me wrong there.
The land has to be brought back to balance and safety.
Probably my favorite pastime right now.
Well,
So I had heard.
We're just going to discuss amongst ourselves momentarily.
Understood.
Rita will at least resheathe the sword.
It's
So I guess that I could take on Raven form and just like flutter away briefly.
You can indeed. And I mean, the normal way for you to travel, which doesn't require a roll, is as a flock of ravens.
All right, cool. I guess I'll be a flock of ravens then.
Indeed. And for
A
those
flock
of
of
you who
ravens
have seen the cover of the campaign Raven's Purge, yes, this is her on the cover.
Okay.
Well, I
Okay,
guess
go
that
ahead.
makes her who she says she is.
I don't. Looking for information and maybe killing a powerful Rust Brothers seems like it's something we're going to do anyway.
It does.
I agree with Soren.
I
This is just an extra step.
other than the cost of reprovisioning, generally speaking, we have done well for ourselves doing what we're going to do anyway.
And I'm wondering, though, is it worth asking if she knows anything about possible locations of any of the other elvish stones?
Or
It's
rumors,
worth-
at least.
It's worth the ask.
In all honesty, on my list, it's demons, Rust Brothers, slavers. So,
I'm also wondering the lady of the house here, where she is so old. I wonder if she knows anything of the elvish stones.
she might have heard something.
And while we're talking and she's not hopefully in earshot, I'd like to go ahead and help her pass on.
If we can, sure.
In all honesty, I was kind of surprised to not find one here because of the age of the castle, and it's dealing with more demonic entities.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it had a pre-existing history and occupant.
Maybe. It's just the stones seem to be drawn to demon-infested areas.
Well, the
Well,
infestation mostly left.
Who was that? Says suddenly the noble lady. So many guests here today that I've never seen before. It's exciting. Maybe we can
Apparently
organize a dinner party. A feast.
That would be lovely.
Shall we? I don't have any tables or a cook even, or any food.
We have a
for
cook.
that matter. Oh,
I'm an excellent cook.
oh, are you? Oh dear, sweetie, that would be so good of you if you could.
I would love access to your kitchen.
The only thing I have here is beer at the moment.
Oh, that's okay. We can source food. I don't think beer would be appropriate.
You
The beer
have
here
you
doesn't
have
do
my
very
full
well.
permission to use the kitchen as you see fit.
Excellent. Make us some rations before we go.
There is nothing in the kitchen for you to use, mind you.
It's fine.
Well,
It's
I mean,
just
Technically, just need a kitchen.
It's just and now it's another kitchen to my checklist.
all right. So when Verelda comes back, then we can at least let her know that our purposes are aligned currently.
Our goals align, yeah.
I still don't trust her as far as I can throw her, but
You can throw her pretty far, though.
probably.
I don't trust her or distrust her. I just,
She simply is.
yeah.
She's just another pawn in the chessboard.
She's probably more like a rook.
You civilized people make everything super complicated when it really doesn't have to be.
Was that a bird joke?
Yes.
No, it was a chess joke.
I got the
But
bird reference.
ravens, rookery, yeah.
Yeah.
It can
was
be both.
foul
I can do
one way or
both.
another.
One could say there's a murder most foul.
Of the language.
If you have access to a kitchen, I can probably spend some time rustling us up some grub.
I hear
I
there's a
would
lot
love
of
that.
long pork around here.
I will go see what shape the kitchen is in because it probably needs a good cleaning.
Yes.
I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if it's functional. It's hundreds of years old.
Fixer-upper, if you will.
Is it functional?
No, not in this life. I mean, it's the space for a kitchen, but it's definitely not functional in any sort of sensible way. There is if you have firewood, you can put it right there in a stove. If you have pots and pans, there are places to put them, but there are
have a
nothing
field
in
kitchen.
here.
I think the main thing here is if the lady is okay with us taking these trinkets, then we are set for any reprovisioning needs we may need for the next little while.
Which means we don't need to do the rest of the shit in this town.
Which means we don't.
We can
need
move
to hang
along.
around.
Oh, go ahead.
And it means we don't have to consider taking the bounty on somebody who may actually be trying to do some good in the area.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, I do want to go ahead and try and see if I can remove the curse before we leave.
That sounds like a good idea.
We should also talk to the captain dude, because I'm sure he will reward us for making the water clean again.
Maybe. And maybe if we remove the curse and the fungus goes away, maybe the beer will get back to normal. People stop being crazy.
And they won't store it in the basement of it anymore. This won't be extra cold.
Yeah.
Do you know how to remove the curse, Brainer?
I got a rough idea. Cough, cough, dispel magic. Cough, cough.
Do we need anything? Like, do we need to find her remains? Do we need to make sure they're properly interred?
Yeah, I'm assuming the curse is probably bound to the remains, which I'm assuming is probably in that super cold area of the building.
In the basement, where they likely keep the tombs?
I mean,
We can ask her.
the way to remove a curse would maybe be a dispel?
Yeah.
Possibly?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
We can. I mean, she seems to know that she's dead.
Yeah.
So we can ask her if she knows. We can ask her if she wants us to remove the curse.
Yeah, I think that's probably the safer bet, Soren, rather than her getting hostile and us having to deal with the specter.
Forcing it, she may consider that rude. And rude to specters means deadly.
That's it.
So, yeah.
I am done being sociable for the day.
So
Back
assuming the
back
lady,
to grunts and nods.
so assuming the lady is still around, yeah, we'll politely ask her if she realizes that she's dead. And Soren will be the one to say that, I guess, or Brainer will be the one to say that.
Yeah,
I
you're
can
both
say it if
just
you
as
want
crazy.
me to stand in the way of rude.
You do
That's fine.
cut to the chase and ask very personal questions of a lady, don't you? I'm not sure we talk about health around here.
Well, I may have the opportunity, my lady, to rid you of the curse, but as part of that, you will no longer remain in this realm.
Now,
And I want to give you the opportunity to make that decision.
oh, but you think I don't really think that I'm in need of a new wardrobe. You see, I'm quite comfortable. I'm quite comfortable.
So you prefer to remain here?
This is my home, after all, isn't it?
The curse, then. Simply the curse.
Okay. If it's not intruding too much further, milady, where exactly did the sorcerer that cursed you curse you at within the building?
Oh, I wouldn't know. These are mysteries to me, you see.
Oh, sorry. So it wasn't a moment of passion where he politely just cursed you in front of you?
Brainer, ladies aren't like that.
Just waves. Now,
Socially awkward Brainer.
yes.
Too empathy.
She keeps looking back towards Celestial.
It was a suitor, not a lover. There's a difference.
Exactly. She understands. It's interesting. we find each other spiritually, if you will. I know nothing of the customs of your people, of course. I should go and gussy myself up in preparation for the feast, and I'll meet you later. Ta-ta.
I give her a quiet bow when she looks my way next.
She does send you a particularly nice glance.
Yeah.
And then she just walks through a wall and walks away.
Oh, Casper the friendly lady.
She's an upper crust lady. She's not going to talk about triced affairs.
Well, there's Braynar for you.
Hey, 2 empathy on purpose. I'm almost as good as Soren.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. That's
The
Braynar.
upper crust and the crusty, you know. It's
Frida's actually considered a bit of a lady for Wolfkin standards.
She
because
showed
she
it
can
now.
cook.
Well, before she left, yeah, she
Yeah.
was considered like
But then she gave
higher.
up on her arranged mating, fled before the breeding.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we can let them know that the ghost problem is taken care of, and then I don't know. Are there any other towns nearby, or do we have to? We might be able to resupply.
Allow me to go and spend some time up in the tower. I'll let you know.
You go to the watchtower. I'll
Yeah.
go fuck around in the kitchen for a while. Brainer, go look for remains.
We don't need to find the remains.
Just need to find the focal point of the curse, which is probably where towards the center of the moss.
Where it's coldest.
It's likely in the basement
So
somewhere.
Brenner is trying to find the point of the curse, and Celestial is doing what?
I'm going to scout from up on high.
Yep, you go up and scout from on high.
You know, to
Yeah,
see
you've
those
spent a while
other
now
territories.
in this ruin. It's got to be around noon, and as you are looking out, and you do have a looking glass to help you, you do see an impressive sight to the west. It's got to be 15 kilometers away, so in the next hexagon.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of movement out there. And judging by what you can see through your binoculars, I mean, there's going to be hundreds of them. And you can see sun glinting in helmets, spears, chainmail possibly, shields. It's 2 big groups, one primarily on foot, the other on horseback, sort of swirling around it. That's all you can make out from this distance, but it's clear that they are making their way across the plains as fast as they can. Just the cloud from them moving. You don't know how many. It's got to be dozens and dozens, if not hundreds.
But the fact that it's gleaming tells me it's not the Rust Brothers.
A flock of ravens would like to be present in this space as well.
Yes.
They will be.
I more mean I would like to
Harass the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can shape yourself back into human form at any time.
Yes. Okay. So I would a flock of ravens sort of gathers around the window that you are sort of looking out, and then there is the raven sister perching there again. An impressive sight, isn't it?
It is definitely one of note. Not as dreadfully impressive as the larger force that preceded them.
Yes, that is so. However, these things have a way of collapsing in on themselves. But I shall leave you to your business. Had you come to any conclusions?
We feel that our purposes align.
Oh, very good. And where do you think you'll be heading next? I would like the opportunity to check in. Should I learn anything more?
It could be that we'll be following to see what they're up to. I'm looking to see if there's any other establishments nearby we may head to after this. So we may wind up following in their wake.
Their meaning?
The impressive sight.
Yes. War is such a fascinating phenomenon. Interesting to see how it all plays out.
It's always so troubling, though, for the land and the peoples.
It is a difficult time to be a life-loving person. But, as I said, I shall leave you to your business. It was good to meet you, adventurer. Please give my best to your companions.
The honor was ours.
And so the flock of ravens flies away again. She had this hair, big white hair that moves on its own, like there was a wind that isn't really there.
Do you see
So-
anything out there, Celestial?
Actually, yes, you might want to come see this.
Oh.
And I show him the mounted and on foot party traveling to the west.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that great body of people as well.
Right.
Feel free to roll a scouting roll if you want more information.
Oh yeah.
And judging from the direction they're moving, is Grindbone the only quote unquote civilized place in their path?
No, the next one would be Willow's Keep. If they just keep going southwest, they will get there. Celestial, as you keep watching through the binoculars, yeah, it looks to you like there's, again, I said 2 distinct bodies, and the one that is primarily on foot, how would I describe that?
Those
Some-
cavaliers.
Some of them are heavily armored enough. You can judge by how much glinting there is from armor, from spearheads, from shields and helmets, and there would be the force on foot is bigger than the force on horses.
Okay.
That's for sure. And again, they number in the hundreds. The troop on horses must be around 100 or so. You obviously can't, this is a ballpark figure from this distance. The other might be 150 or so, just proportionally. That's about what you can tell from this distance, I would argue. You can't make out colors or colors on banners and things like that from this distance.
No, and Celestial Passage isn't like characters I have in other games, so I can't make certain leaps that I know that I'm currently thinking of.
So, once we have everything that we need to do here squared away, if we want to make our way back to the Eye of the Rose, on
Just straight across the plains.
Yeah, like on horseback, I think we can probably get there in like 3 days.
Yeah, because on the second day we'd probably arrive at the mixed blood village that we sold the griffin to our carcass at.
Yeah, just about. There's the little bit of woods that we'll have to go through that'll slow us, but
Now that you're sort of looking downwards a little bit closer to to Grindbone, there are in fact people coming towards the gate in some haste.
Oh.
Yeah.
I turned the glass upon them.
You turn the glass upon them. They look like militia type people dressed in the typical Alderlander hoses with bindings around the legs, leather shoes, tunics, and upon those leather jerkins. Some of them are bloody and visibly clutching wounds. Others are sort of escorting them. One has a cracked shield that is cracked, just half the round shield is left, and has an axe in the belt, but no spear. They are looking decidedly haggard and just looking out towards the plains again, and making their way towards the gate as quickly as they possibly can.
They're coming for refuge. Would be the easiest.
Seems like a bad place to do that sort of thing.
Like finding that here.
What could ever go wrong in Grindbone, right?
Hmm.
In all honesty, though, Grindbone has not been as vicious to us as I expected it to be yet.
No, but we're in the
Thanks.
best of shape with our full equipment. I
Yet.
have suspicions about what's happening here.
Yeah, we're
I assume it's something we need to get the fuck out of Dodge for.
Yes. Even if they're exactly as they are, and we remain, we're going to get involved in the middle of people trying to be forcibly enslaved in the night. If they're not, and this is within, because it is within their realm, we're going to be in the middle of a raid.
I don't like either of those options.
So let's get the heck out of here.
And so, if that is your decision, you'll start down the path back towards the village proper, I suppose.
I'll make my parting with the lady.
And after the parting, I'm going to try and remove the curse so that she remains.
But we will
you know.
deal with all those things next session, because we are coming into 11 p.m. here on the Canadian East Coast. So it is time to
the
end the
switching
session
hour.
for this time. Yes, exactly. I just want to thank our special guest who managed to make it here. We didn't even know if it was going to be possible. She is also called Jessica, in fact. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
So glad that you could join us. And awesome. Thank you so much for doing an amazing Virelda Bloodbeak. Yeah, that was...
Goddamn Raven sisters and all their whispering and cackles.
We've never actually had the chance to play together until now, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so that was awesome. Thank you.
That's
was
the big advantage of doing all this remote gaming.
Yes, yes, we can bring in resource people from all over the place. So
In
yeah,
your
we'll
character's
see.
defense, the first couple of games, my character did kill 2 Raven sisters that turned out to be either in league with demons or demonically possessed.
Oh, I had heard.
It's amazing what you hear from all your little birds.
Yes. The Discord birds. Excellent. So we'll see what happens next session, because I'm sure there is still trouble brewing in Grindbone for some people. Mm-hmm.
I'll work on my description voice for the recap.
Yes.
Action, romance, danger.
That'll be great. All right. So yeah, there will obviously not be an epilogue today because we had a guest, and that's a little poke from the shadow players. Mm-hmm.
I cast light.
Yeah. I'm so spoiled because I've been deliberately not watching the epilogues. So I don't know who any of the shadow players are, but then the one that you did, that was a separate thing. The thumbnail came up. I was like, my God, that's Vance.
Yeah, Vance is involved. I saw that too.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anyhow, okay.
I love Vance.
So good night to everyone, and
Night.
see you all in 2 weeks' time. And
guys.
My news layout.
Night, guys.
Thanks, folks. See
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
bye.